Another round? Why do you... You are not prepared! You are not! This guy's toast. Leroy! Not prepared! Hello and welcome to Sunday Night Showdown. My name's BrushyTuna, and tonight I'll be joined with my rival and most hated THL player, RonMexico. How you doing, Ron?
Hey, what's up, man? Happy to be here with Saku. Far less happy to be here with Tuna, but I sacrifice so that we can all enjoy this fantastic match between Itachi and Solojazz for the Pro Series.
Oh, I don't know. Because I'm just thinking about Ron thinking he's better than me, but he's not. But anyways, like Ron said, tonight on Opping, we have the legendary Saku. How you doing? Oh, it sounded more exciting than before, Saku. I'm excited. Yep. So like Ron said, we have Solojazz from the Unknown taking on Itachi from Stay the Blazes Home. It is Pro Series, so it is open deck list, so we'll be able to look through these deck lists from the players before we get into the match today. We have for Solojazz, we have Spell Druid, Highlander Priest, Highlander Rogue, and Enrage Warrior taking on Itachi's Highlander Shaman, Stealth Rogue, Enrage Warrior, and sort of like a low to the ground Spell Mage. Ron, what do you think of these decks?
Yeah, some spicy stuff from Itachi. Solojazz bringing, you know, kind of generally accepted competitive decks, sort of top tier stuff. And Itachi, I mean, technically, Stay the Blazes Home are already eliminated from playoff contention. So I think he got licensed to play around with a little bit more fun stuff. Granted, the caliber of player he is likely still going to play quite well with these decks, but they're not exactly your top meta stuff. It's going to be interesting to see how these decks play out.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real with you. I've only seen this mage list on Brian Kibler's stream, so I'm interested to see how this does into THL players, because I know Brian doesn't really play it past like a certain rank because he doesn't think it's that good. But maybe Itachi thinks something about it.
Nice,
But,
yeah, could be.
You know, and you can't count any Highlander deck out either, just because Zephyrus and pre-second nerf Dragon Queen Alexstrasza are still in there, and they can just win games on their own.
Absolutely can. There's a lot of crazy things that can happen. There's quite a bit of high rolly potential in some of these lists that Itachi has brought. So we might be in store for some fireworks coming up real soon in these games. Otherwise, though, they could just brick, you know, and we could just see Solo Jazz's meta decks take things pretty easily. So we'll hope for an exciting series, but just really interested to see how this goes down.
I'm actually shocked to not see a quest in the Highlander list. I like to see quest in there with like the Cobalt Spellkins and stuff like that. Allows you to double up on all your card advantage cards and help to come back into the games when you're behind.
Yeah, if I remember from before talking with Itachi, I think he mentioned something about how the quest just was so bad because you always have to keep it in the mulligan, and then you just wind up having one less card to draw for things that's important in the early game or to compete, because the rest of the deck is, let's just generously say, not highly competitive.
I mean, any deck can be competitive, really. There's
Yeah.
there's nuances to a lot of decks that can beat other competitive decks.
Hey, any deck
So-
that runs Zephyrus and Dragon Queen can win.
Right. And Lurker from below, right? That card's just so good. At least I think it's good.
Oh, it's definitely a good card. It's just in this
The rest are
class
Shaman.
that I'm kind of unfamiliar with. Shaman. This is, I guess this is the 10th class. I don't know. Did they introduce this right after Demon Hunter? I'm confused
Yeah,
about this
they
whole
took
thing.
it out of the they took it out a while ago after Shaman Stone. They're like, all right, Shaman Stone's done. We're gonna delete this class, bring it back later. So
All right, so we got bans obviously, so
ooh.
they're on the website. So it's, what do you guys think
the
before you look?
All right. Well, wait.
Ooh.
I'm gonna guess what Itachi's banning.
Yeah, we already know what we're banning. So
Let's see. If I'm Itachi, maybe it's Warrior Druid. I feel like.
Ron?
I think Warrior makes the most sense. I mean, it's possible he could ban the Druid too. Druid does some crazy high rolly RNG stuff too, but I think Warrior's just the most consistent, strongest thing.
Yep, and that's what it is. Double warrior ban. So wasn't surprising.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Ron and I already kind of knew, like, we could check
Yeah.
our unknown chat and know the one ban.
well, it's pretty much what's the same as our section 2 is like, yeah, it's just warrior. Like, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All right,
All
I'm
right.
gonna get the gang to start playing. So for our viewers, Itachi is gonna be on the bottom, or the first one to spectate for us, and Solojazz will be on top.
All right, Ron.
Sound good.
What is going to be game one? What decks are we bringing?
Itachi's just going Shaman game 1. He's committing to the memes right away. And Solojazz, he's gonna bring the Rogue.
Ooh. I would like to see that Highlander Priest. I haven't gotten to see it too often, so I would love to see that off the rip. And
What about you? What do you think we're seeing?
I think it's Priest into Mage. I'm feeling the
All right.
spell Mage off the rip.
Yeah, that could be a good one. Good one to watch for sure.
That would be exciting. The only reason I don't want to see it is just because I don't want Tuna to be right.
I mean, this is Shinvala in this list. Like, what is it, even this card? Makes 5/5s? Man.
Okay,
All right.
players
There
are
we
going
are.
in. Mage versus Rogue.
Oh.
Mage versus Rogue. Well, we were kind of half right,
So I guess combined we were
Yeah.
fully correct, right?
With our powers combined.
The powers
We are-
within thee.
So just for our viewers out there, this is a match that doesn't have too much playoff implications for State of Blazes home. I think Ron already touched on that earlier, but what does this mean for you guys' I guess standings?
This can help. Yeah, this can help the unknown either place in 3rd seed or the 4th seed. We're locked in for playoffs, but this just helps either move us up in seeding or not.
Right. And congrats to the 4 teams that made it, which is Washu, strong team. Then we got Tap Last, the Unknown, and the last one was
Bad to the bone.
Bad to the Bone. There you go.
Yep.
All right, we
Sharma
started off.
eliminated Aeon earlier.
This is true. Close match too. A 5-game series, which would have changed quite a bit about this set. It would have actually made it so Solojazz had to win in order to get Unknown into the playoffs. Instead, a little bit more relaxing maybe on both sides. Itachi with not anything to play for as far as Dream Crusher goes. So, you know, both players maybe get to take it a little bit easier, but at the same time, we know they both want to win. So
Yeah.
they're definitely going to be doing their best to crush their enemy.
Itachi not having the best season, and then he had to take a break because of personal reasons, but
Solojazz with a pretty decent pickup of a secret holding Hanar. Still doesn't have a way to get the Miscreant online. Just gonna punch down a thing and re-dagger. Pretty standard turns so far. Itachi wants to draw some cards.
Ooh,
Both
he can go
players
off with a mana
getting
cyclone
slow.
soon.
Yeah, that Mana Cyclone can get real crazy once he's got the ability to charge it up. He might just go off next turn. We'll see.
Yeah, he just needs Solojazz to play minion to turn on like 50% of the cards in his hand.
And Solojazz will oblige him with the Bone Wraith on turn 4. Decision time for Itachi. It's quite a few cards he's got in hand. I think the only thing we can reliably predict is he won't pass this turn and burn a card.
Thanks,
solid,
Ron. Yeah,
solid analysis here.
Good job. Start off with a magic trick.
Hey, look at that. I'm right. He didn't pass.
you're 1 for 1, Ron.
You could take counterspell here for Itachi, throw it up, and set up for another turn. Since you do have so many cards in your hand.
Counter spell. I don't know if he wants to actually play it right now, though. He does.
Boom.
What's he
Tuna.
expecting?
This just allows him to develop it. Like even if it's not for now, like he's not really too worried about a spell come down this turn. It's so he can get this 3 mana card out of his hand for a future Mana Cyclone turn.
Mm-hmm.
And counterspell can be fairly disruptive as well for Solojazz. He's got a lot of spells that he wants to go off with that help further his game plan, whether it be charging up the Hanar or getting the Miscreant active and stepping it, all kinds of things that that counterspell kind of blocks.
It does block the Hanar development for now, until Solo finds another spell or another secret.
Solojazz is now effectively tested for a couple of the secrets. He knows it's spell-based at this point. Doesn't know yet if it's Spellbender, Netherwind, or Counterspell, but that should be the information he's going off of now. And this, likely the Mana Cyclone turn?
No. I think he's just removing a 4/5 and calling it a day. I think at this point he's probably trying to figure out if he wants to play Magic Trick or not.
Evocation.
Location.
Oh.
Wants to
Learn
learn
Draconic's
Draconic
also really
instead.
good. When you have, what, 7 spells in your hand? And your deck's 85% spells. That's just a free 6/6.
Solojazz drawing the Edwin probably is going to want to charge it up as much as he can, but the counterspell will actually block that somewhat.
Solo once we can play Lackey into Evil Miscreant.
Might just want to go shoot Lackey Shadow Step, and that would of course trigger the secret and he'd know it's counterspell. Gonna eviscerate instead.
Values the Shadow Step more.
In fairness, this is a pretty good option because of how it just lets him get more stats on Edwin. I like the play.
Luckily for Itachi, he does have a ton of freezes. Still has 3 Ray or Frost left in his deck, or left in his hand.
Yeah, Itachi has freezes for days on this Edwin, so this Edwin's probably not hitting him for 10 anytime soon. Once again, with quite a heavy hand for Itachi as far as total cards. Number of decisions.
Ooh.
Gonna discover first, probably a fireball. And gonna start chipping away at the Edwin's health. Okay, so setting up to kill it with a fireball next turn.
Coin Cyclone. All
Ran.
3 into the Bone Wraith.
Wow.
That's gonna be a lot of random spells that Itachi's discovering here.
Well,
And played it just enough so that he doesn't burn a card. Nicely calculated on Itachi's side.
this frees up Solojazz to do the secret thing.
Looks like he's debating on either Praise Miscreant or Secret or Hanar Secret. Moused over the Hanar briefly. Still debating. Seems reasonable to play the Hanar and the Bamboozle right now with the Bone Wraith in the way. Looks like Solojazz wants to do it. Can get a few secrets off this right away.
This is also good
Generally.
rolling fireball positioning as well.
Yes, very much so. And very good lead-off secret pick as well. Generally, you want to take the Paladin secret first, so you can keep going off with Hanar. Once you're out of options, the Paladin one becomes less attractive because you don't know if Hanar is going to survive. He's a priority target. Solojazz still going to take it. Also activates the Vendetta in hand for some more removal, but removal doesn't seem to be much of a priority at the moment. Itachi picking up an active Malagos off the top. Unlikely that he plays it here.
Theoretically, he could and just Ray of Frost down the Edwin again.
Looks like he wants to Rolling Fireball on board. That would kill the Edwin, and a ping would kill the Hanar. Of course, he'd get the bad news that one of those secrets is Never Surrender, which means he can't kill the Hanar that way.
If he fireballs from left to right,
It would still just kill the Bone Wraith and Hanar will live.
His Bone Wraith goes up to 4 and Hanar goes
Yep,
up to
goes
6.
up to 6.
oh right, yeah.
Yeah, 1-3 or 1-2.
Although he does have the ability to just kill the Hanar with the double ray. But that would mean a 10-7 is surviving on board. Just gonna slow things down a bit, freeze the Edwin, play some taunts. And Solojazz's pick of the Noble Sack looks like it might have paid off because he can keep going off with this Hanar and more secrets if he chooses. The Vendetta still being active means he needs very little damage left to kill this Draconic. You could just take the Seal Fate on that Draconic along with the Vendetta and get that big ol' 6/6 out of the way. Faceless Corruptor's another decent consideration as well.
Because you can trade in with your Bone Wraith, Faceless your Bone Wraith.
Really good lead off with Praise. He's got now two attack minions on board that can clear these 0/2 taunts.
Oh
That
my
was a very
goodness.
quick pick. We know Solojazz is, of course, running a Highlander rogue deck. Not offered a Dragon Queen off of Tonic Lackey. That was about the fastest pick of a dragon.
I didn't even
that's
think the
offered I've
options
ever
were. I just
seen.
saw a Dragon Queen
Yeah.
here in hand.
I saw a Deathwing real quick, and I was like,
did
ooh,
you?
Deathwing. But, you know, Dragon Queen is quite a bit better, especially when you're a Highlander and your turn 9 is incoming. Seems like the smart move.
It's going to be some bad news for Itachi next turn.
Now Itachi looking for maybe a freeze off of this Mally.
Ooh.
Flame
Flame
Strike
Strike?
can help
Flame
as
Strike's
well
pretty good.
if he can stall. And we know he has At least one
One.
freeze in, well, 2 freezes
Yep.
in hand with the Frostbolt.
Yep. I think you just take the Flame Strike. Oh.
He wants to take the Mally Frostbolt instead here. Interesting.
Huh. I like the Flame Strike there. I mean, you'll take some damage here, but you could have still Frostbolt and Ray of Frost down the 4/4 and the 10/7.
Right, he had the option of leaving just about 6 attack on board.
Yeah.
Really wanted to get the Hanar out of the way, but now he's going to see that Hanar not really relevant at this point in the game anymore. And I think the last thing Solojazz wants to do is play this Onyxia and board lock himself for freezes, so he's going to hold it back.
A simple spell.
Cobalt Spellkin down here. We got Mirror Image and Font of Power off of it. Not really good old spells right now.
Now this looks like Itachi is just about done for in this game. Font of Power does not discover a Frost Nova minion, unfortunately for Itachi.
Don't worry, it will in the next set. All right. Itachi trigger. Bamboozle on the Edwin.
Oh gosh.
Wisely exploiting the Bamboozle to transform the 10 attack minion into something with less attack. Of course, still not going to be enough here. Even with the 2 taunts, that's just lethal. So he's got to play to any and all possible outs that exist.
Nope.
Couldn't find any. And that's going to do it for game 1. Solojazz picking up the victory with the Rogue over the Mage. On to
That Mage
game
really didn't do anything that game. Just a whole bunch of freezes.
Yeah, you know, Itachi didn't find his big payoff cards.
Mana
he
Giant.
had one Cyclone that worked, but that was about it. Cyclone, you can't control the discovered cards. He never found the Chinvala, he never found the Giants. And without it, a lot of times, the Mage is dead in the water.
Yeah, just found all of his like 1 and 2 drop spells and stuff, but nothing bigger than that.
And now we've got Solojazz queuing up his Dragon Spell Druid into Itachi's Highlander Shaman.
Here you go, Ron. This is what you wanted.
Pure nonsense. I'm here for it.
So as players, just out of curiosity, and you see a couple wild, like the Pro Series itself, and you see another player that brings out some funky decks. How do you guys feel about that?
I mean, usually it's kind of like sketchy. You're like, why you bring this? But you know, sometimes you can bring some sketchy decks because they counter queue someone's deck. You know, like people have been bringing Paladin a lot more recently because it counter queues into Warrior pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of sketchy to see Paladin, but then you're like, oh, my Warrior's getting targeted. So, you know, there are game plans to bringing interesting decks like these.
Yeah, it depends on the context. A lot of times, you might think that it's some kind of planned counter strategy towards a like a favored class or deck list that you've been bringing. Other times, honestly, as a player, you look at your opponent's deck list and they might be bringing some off-meta stuff that isn't as competitive as top-tier things, and you just say, "Hey, sweet, this is great. This is going to be easier for me." But you never can tell.
Oh, we're turning on them our spawn for next turn. Okay. I don't know if that's what I want to do, but I guess he values trying to find some sort of AoE off his Marsh spawn.
Well, I think it makes sense in this matchup actually, in particular, because Witch's Brew is really never going to save you against Druid. If you're trying to Witch's Brew to regain health that was lost, you're just going to get bursted down anyway. So Witch's Brew feels like a totally irrelevant card in this matchup. And I think Itachi recognizing the matchup very well, just using it as a way to activate the Marsh Spawn and find something useful. Some interesting options here.
Hex
Hex,
seems like a
Lava
good one.
Burst.
Torrent. I think it's Torrent, right?
Torrent is also a great choice because, you know, he does run spells, and that could be an easy way to get through a bigger taunt.
Yeah.
But he didn't play a spell this turn, and he's not holding any spells in hand, so he's not going to get that 1 mana on the Torrent, at least until another turn.
Alright. Solojazz got turn 5 Ysera here.
And Solojazz does the thing.
He does the druid thing.
That seems to be tilting some people, and other people love it.
All right, and now with Itachi's turn 6 incoming, Solojazz has 7 random dragon portals in his deck and a 4/12. And he's not done, potentially, even though he's out of mana completely. He has 4 playable cards in his hand.
Only one
Probably
nerf, by
not a
the
great
way.
idea to actually play them, but the fact remains it is an option. Was an option as he ends his turn.
Yep. Spell damage? Ooh. This allows Itachi to
Oh,
straight
wow.
in the Lackey to clear it.
Job's done.
Very good roll off of the totem there. Have an easy way to deal with that 4/12.
Hey.
And Solojazz has 2 ridiculous options that he can choose from.
I think you just go Mount
Overflow
Seller and
to find a bunch of dragons. Probably much better to Mount Seller with 4/0 mana spells in hand and a somewhat threatening board you'd
I
like to
supply
remove.
only the finest creatures.
we'll probably only
Solojazz-
see 3 of these. We might save a Moonfire.
Yeah,
we are
second
holding on to Malachite.
Fire doesn't really make any sense to use right now because if he doesn't kill anything,
Send it and kill him the
he had
spell
the,
damage.
he had the mana for the hero power, so that's reasonable as well, just to get as many possible beasts that he can. Also clears out his hand full of cards with Overflow.
True. I think I would have gone greedy if I was playing. Hold it on because I'm looking at that Malagos.
And, you know, at the time, it made sense, obviously, to swing with Malfurion first into the Totem and then Moonfire. But a tiny bit of a punish, ordering-wise. If he had Moonfired first, he would have seen the Rush Beast, and he could have actually killed the Vile Fiend.
Waste Warden's pretty nice here, actually.
Yeah, that was a big
killed 2
draw with
beasts.
Waste Warden there.
Ooh. What's in the box?
And here come the dragons. Singular, for now.
Okay. No, we drew one,
Solojazz
so that's
most
dragons.
likely going to overflow and see a lot more dragons. I would expect we see the Mount Seller trade into the 3/4 and then an overflow, so the Raven can kill the Waste Warden
Warden.
post heal.
I like it. There's also consideration to just slam your Emerald Explorer.
That's probably what Solojazz is thinking about at the moment because he knows Overflow is going to summon a beast at least. He also
Yeah.
might want to trade first to lose the beast to have more space. Besides, it's not necessary. Here comes some more dragons. That's a
Ooh,
good one.
That's a good one. That's a pretty
Those
good
are
one.
some stats. Okay.
Time waits for no one.
And that's the end of the dragons. Yep.
And that's
All
going
right.
to do it for the dragons for now. Still 4 more in Solojazz's deck. And Itachi now really wishing right about now
Looking
he had
real
his Zephyrs.
sad. Yeah. No board clear. No real way to clear off more than one of these. We could free something, but this turn is still gonna hurt a ton.
For my glory.
Yeah, this looks like certain doom for Itachi. At this point, there really aren't many options he has. The Druid did the Druid thing, and his deck is not equipped to answer that unless he's holding Zephyrs, which he is not.
Earthquake clears up this board well too.
Well, that's true, actually. There are a few other things that he runs.
Yeah.
Is it
Earthquake
cold
wouldn't
in
even
the
full clear,
shadows?
though. And the
Yeah.
Mount Seller would still be up.
I mean, clear off most of the board. I think you're pretty happy with that.
True. Although you would be looking at 13 damage, so double Savage Roar would kill you. But that's just Druid doing Druid stuff.
Does Solo even run double Savage Roar? A lot of times they're running the Malagos list. They do not play the double Savage Roar.
Yeah, actually, if
Quick here, real
Itachi is
quick.
paying attention to the
There's
list.
0 Savage Roars in Solojazz's list, so
That's fair.
What?
Of course, this is irrelevant speculation at the moment because this commanding board position really just kind of says there isn't much of any chance Itachi has of winning this game.
me mom get Nor's Darmu.
Probably just grabs the Alex.
Is there any reason to grab the Alex? We watched
Just-
him use his Witch's Brew.
just in
There's
case
not a
if
ton of
he
healing?
has, you know, the well, specifically
Waits
the
for
Walking
no one.
Fountain or Zephyrus Clear and then heals up afterwards or something. You could always just use it to burst him down. It feels like it was probably the best card that was offered since the stats are the same as Nozdormu, but it doesn't
He
really matter.
knew. He knew.
He wanted to take the meme card.
Yep.
Good on you, Solo.
No, it's because I said you should take it.
Oh,
There's an
Hey,
Earthquake.
there's an Earthquake.
And we can see that the
They're dead.
Earthquake will not matter. He did have a chance if he rolled Spell Power.
We also get a 7 drop Legendary. It's in the box.
The only out that exists, the 7 drops to do something. Itachi did find the lethal. Kudos to him. Granted, it was on himself. But, you know, I'm always an advocate for that. If you can't find the lethal on your opponent, find it on yourself.
On yourself.
And we are moving on. Solojazz, 2 wins down. Itachi still looking for a win. And what do you think we see next? Do you think we just see Itachi's last deck?
Into Highlander Priest. I think we see Shaman back into it. That's my guess.
Mage.
I was just hoping for variety.
Let the games begin.
This Cyclone Mage could have a reasonable chance against the Highlander Priest here.
Yeah, get out some early 8/8s or some early Mana Cyclones, generate a ton of value.
He found the Sorcerer's Apprentice this time, which helps quite a bit.
Thy blood
Nice.
born again.
Solojazz currently holding a hand that says, if I make it to turn 9, I pretty much win this game.
Well, there's a blast from the past. Harrison Jones.
Main decked Harrison Jones. I thought he belonged in a museum.
Yeah, at this point. Ooh, Itachi with some nice rolls.
Good missile shots there. I kind of expected a tempo Mind Flayer, to be honest, from Solojazz here, but taking it slow.
There's not really too many minions that you want to copy from your opponent.
And still with nothing to do now, maybe we see an off-mana Mind Flayer? Nope.
Nope.
Still holding it for the value.
That's because you keep offering it, Ron. Doesn't want to do your plays.
Ah, hello there.
Itachi, nice with a
Blessings to
fun
you.
little emote there after fireballing the face. And
all right.
Solojazz just gonna slam down a water
Water
bear
bear.
and heal up a bit.
Rude.
So
I see
there
your
goes that
6 damage.
fireball.
And I'll reverse 5 of it.
Itachi contemplating discovering a dragon.
Interesting.
Could always play it along with a Ray. Could start going off with a Cyclone turn as well by dropping the Sorcerer's Apprentice, the coin, and some discounted stuff. Not really much outside of the freeze though. Oh, look at that. Everyone can have Dragon Queens. Mally is the better pick though.
I don't think Itachi wants Dragon Queen.
No, his deck runs quite a lot of duplicates.
Yeah, doing some math here real quick, Ron.
Like,
I think he's
the
good.
majority of the deck is
That's the
duplicates.
one.
You
Yeah.
need to go into fatigue, basically, for it to be active. Solojazz wisely dropping the Harrison as a 5/4. Considering Mage doesn't have any weapons, this isn't wild. There is no Aluneth to destroy.
Could be.
Is that even possible? Didn't Toki already rotate too? So you couldn't
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything's
Yeah.
gonzo.
Toki doesn't even give you a weapon though.
No, Toki would have to give you like some that
The legendary
Lingentron
deck,
guy
yeah,
that gives
that
you
gives you weapons. And then
There's
you're
a
gonna play
chance.
him.
There's a chance it can happen. Shenanigans have happened before.
That's true. We are playing with a priest here and mage. Most of the two scam decks of the format right now.
Itachi gonna clear up the heal guy. Coining. Are we seeing a Mana Cyclone yet? Looks like he wants to draw instead. If he played the Cyclone now, he'd just fill up his hand. He's still gonna do it. And
Cover the spell, can't cast.
still burns a card. Although I'm sure he'd rather have that one than the Tome.
We do have box now. It's our comeback mechanic.
No box for solo.
This is true.
Ooh, an active arcane breath for Solojazz off that thought steal.
Well, he might as well rip it. Maybe he's considering whether or not to play Mind Flayer.
I mean, you can play
Shadow
both.
Madness is also a good
I
one to just
wonder.
clear the minions right now. He can hold back.
Push 5.
My hand is full.
Pretty good burn.
Solojazz neglecting to heal Itachi's face before hitting him for 5. Only
Yeah.
slightly disappointed he didn't use all the mana. Itachi with a very quick turn here, just jamming the Observer and the Vaporize. This'll get rid of Harrison.
Back to the museum with you.
And Solojazz, I see your imprisoned Observer, and I raise you an imprisoned Observer, or not.
Just a dangly observer.
Currently very tempted by the prospect of playing the same card. He had 2 options of playing an imprisoned Observer on that turn.
Could have
Interestingly,
Marazon.
Also could have played Marazon and gotten an imprisoned Observer. Fascinating. All right, and
Ooh,
2 for 2.
Itachi gonna find upgraded spell.
Oh,
These are not great.
Polymorph, I
Polymorph
guess?
probably the best out of those options. And Solojazz
Here
has
she comes.
survived until turn 9, and now is gonna do the thing.
Life and hope of will fight.
Enjoying this
Oh
card
my gosh.
for the nerfs to just go ahead and play them while they still are 0.
Hey,
that-
we're playing Druid again.
That's back-to-back games now that Solojazz has played a Ysera Unleashed and thrown some Dragon Portals in his deck.
So I didn't like Solojazz playing that 0-mana dragon there that was just gonna die. Probably could have
Maybe he
saved
just wanted the Heralds right away.
Maybe.
When
Your
you
hand's
look
kind of
at-
clogged anyways.
When you look at his hand, though, there aren't really a lot of things that are great
Oh.
for
We're going in.
being in command of the board, so it makes sense to maybe just want to get some Bronze Dragons going. Meanwhile, Itachi going off.
No mana cyclone though. Ooh. Hachi's really good with these arcane missile juggles.
Yeah, these missiles are hitting the right spots here.
let's see what evocation gives him. Guard.
Conjurer's Call, though.
Well,
That's pretty good.
Okay, yeah. And the nice thing about that Conjurer's Calling is he gets a real one back that isn't going to be discarded at the end of the turn. Then he'll just go ahead and throw out the other 2 highest value cards that he was going to discard anyway.
A box coming out next turn for Itachi. Make Ron happy.
I definitely want to know what's in the box.
I'll never forget that one playoff series, or the one All-Stars match, Ron. I think it was Legacy. For 25 straight minutes, Ron proceeded to say, play the box, even in classes that we did not have boxing. It was a nightmare.
I don't remember all of those things. I think I blacked out. I might have been drunk. All right. Testing first with the spell. Gonna trigger this Spellbender.
Ooh.
Could grab yet another Plague of
Plague of
Death
Death.
if you wanted. Shadow Word, also quite good. Just wants to take the Plague. Might even just play it right now. Looks like he wants to.
Here comes the real Plague of Death.
And Solojazz playing the main decked one. Letting Itachi know, hey, I don't have any more Plague of Death. It's gone now. You don't need to play around it. And thus the bait is set.
Ooh. Another evocation for Itachi.
Wow. Just pure shenanigans in this game. It's hard to keep up. Prisoned Observer number 2 hits the battlefield, as does a Spell Wing. Solojazz's end.
So what's the next secret up? Mirror Entity.
Mirror Entity.
Solojazz is just perplexed that he hasn't drawn his multiple dream portals yet.
I mean, he's only drawn like 4 cards since then.
I know. There's,
Maybe 2. Like...
it's a lot harder to find these in a priest deck than it is in a druid deck. Finally gonna play the Mind Flayer here. Are we seeing a Time Rip as well?
Ooh.
Interesting. Itachi gets
The
that
Cobalt
3/5 basically coming right on back.
Oh, that's a good one to discover.
That is quite a good one to have randomly generated off of a Galakron Invoke. I think Solojazz is going to be happy with that outcome. Itachi with more 1-mana spells, a Conjurer's, a box. You can always find out what's in the box. Not time yet.
It's not time yet for box.
Going infinite again with this Arcane Breath. I think that's 4 Arcane Breaths now.
Yeah, I think so as well.
On Itachi's side of this game.
No pirates. Go figure. Except for the Bomb Wrangler.
She's not a pirate.
No.
Oh, Itachi drawing a 0-mana Giant. And hey, there's no real Plague of Deaths anymore. Surely this play is safe. And Solojazz holding an answer if he chooses. He could also Soul Mirror this board. Plague is certainly a possibility, as is Soul Mirror. Murazond even would be a reasonable choice at this point.
You could Murzon and then Death the 8/8 afterwards. Which is pretty nice.
You might wind up conjuring the 8/8, but with Itachi board locked, that wouldn't really be much of a problem, because you could still just Shadow Word whatever comes out of it. I do like the Murzon Death play. I feel like that might be Solojazz's best option at this point.
Gets it back onto his board, start pressuring down Itachi's board.
Gonna Death first, playing the Siamat instead.
Rush Wind Fury? No?
Divine Shield,
Shield and Rush.
Rush.
Okay.
little surprised by that.
Yeah, I am
knew
too.
the Observer was waking up to just take away the Divine Shield anyway. Okay, Itachi going with the Malygos. Hoping for better options this time around. Still
Oh my-
not really
Not
getting
good.
the options he wants.
That's like the third tomb, I think.
Alright, what's in Arcane Breath 4? A Fireball.
Fireball. Nice.
Well, if the goal of this game was to play more cards than your opponent, Itachi is certainly way ahead.
Interesting.
Debating on the missiles, we know that his missiles have been working out quite well for him so far. He does have 4 mana left, holding 2 fireballs. He might just want to use one now to clear up the Tiamat.
Clear up the Seer Mat, leave the Mind Flayer alone. Push some damage. That's what I would like to see.
Itachi choosing to use the real fireball, not the discovered one. And pushes a decent amount of damage as well here.
And if Solojazz wants to rip the other Plague of Death, he knows there's only one more 8/8 and a Mana Cyclone left in Itachi's deck for
What is a loon's
actual
will?
creature-based pressure. Oh yeah, and there's Shabala too. So there's 3
True.
minions left.
He might be wanting
Lord.
to save it for a Chinvala board. Gonna go with the Apotheosis now. And just gonna throw a taunt in the way. Knows that Bomb Wrangler can be real pesky with the bombs it generates. Just gonna get it out of here and be mana efficient. Itachi finds Mana Giant number 2. Options always box. Is
No.
a possibility. Clearly not the best play again
Come
at this
on.
point right now.
Just rip the box and
Just saying, he could do it. We might see Spellkin come down on this play. We might see the Tome. Leads with the Tome. See what random spells he can find.
Taunt Power, Arcane Explosion, Flame Strike. Some alright spells.
Arcane Explosion alone with a ping enables him to kill the Mind Flayer and block the healing. And still save
Interesting.
a lot of mana for other plays.
Well, so does Arcane Missiles, because 2's going to hit Mind Flayer.
Oh, right. Arcane Missiles always hits well. I mean, he still
That's
had the
okay.
ability to ping it down.
Dang it, yeah.
He's happy with that outcome, I think. Considering using the clear with the fireball, he decides
I like this
against
better.
it. Yeah, I think so too. And then he wants to play that Mana Giant. At this point, I think it's very
Khadgar.
likely. Oh, Khadgar. I think it's likely that Solojazz is going to rip either the Soul Mirror or the Plague. There's not really any other good options at this point.
next turn is box. I have a feeling.
And Solojazz
Plague of
going
Death.
with the Plague. Discovered from an arcane breath. What a crazy game.
Oh, go Infinite.
Itachi immediately playing the Azure Explorer. Offered Azure Explorer. Plays Azure Explorer. Offered Azure.
Oh,
No Infinite. Although Deathwing
That's-
is somewhat appealing.
Nah,
Cobalt might
that's-
be the better pick
Yeah.
because you do main deck 2 of them. Your game plan of your deck is to
Alright.
get them. He does want the Deathwing though.
I didn't like Deathwing just because we're holding on to this Flame Strike and stuff.
Flame Strike might be useless.
Yeah. But with a deck that usually has a, like, so far I've never seen Itachi with less than 5 cards in hand. So
Solojazz going with the Raider and a Bronze Dragon. Just gonna put some stats on the board to contest. What's that other 10 mana card I see in Itachi's hand? Puzzle box of Yogg-Saron. Interesting. What does this do?
I'm not casting it. Get out of here, Ron.
Power for the taking!
Itachi wisely clearing the board and developing a minion,
No.
pushing a little bit of damage.
Yeah, not listening to Ron over here.
Solojazz considering Soul Mirror. I'm very surprised by that. Maybe he's just reading it again.
What does this card do again?
It's
I wonder.
Galakron.
I think his Galakron only has one invoke still. No, it has two. Okay.
Could honestly just play Murzon for the Flame Strike and board presence. Yeah, that's what he wants to do. Just clear those minions too. I really would have
3-1.
liked the Murzon, a lot of plays earlier with the Shadow Word for the Mana Giant. But he does have the board presence now. Still waiting on those 7 Dream Portals in his 19 card deck.
Well, Starscryer can get him a Dream Portal.
Does it work that way?
Yeah.
They
It's
are
considered a
technically
spell in your deck.
spells. Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting.
box. Do the box.
That would be hilarious.
That would be
That
awesome.
was how he drew his Dream Portal.
Deathwing just pretty much ends the game right now.
Deathwing far too risky. He drew the Mana Cyclone and he's holding some spells, so it seems reasonable to lead off with a Discover. Gonna Discover again.
Oh,
We just keep
fifth
going
Arcane
infinite.
Breath. Oh, boo.
Doesn't go infinite anymore. Wants the other Flame Strike. And now we play the Mana Cyclone, get some more generation. Burning a card with a 3-card deck, probably not too relevant anymore for Itachi. He also could have found a 1-mana spell to dodge it.
Man. Shenbala, bottom 3. Upsetting.
Solojazz with the opportunity potentially to take this trade and see if he just gets a Dream Portal chain going.
I wonder.
Oh, we're going for the full tempo with the Holy Nova.
Seems like a reasonable play. A 3-attack minion is nothing to sneeze at, and it does force Itachi to bring it down, clear it. And look at that, one of Itachi's main win conditions in his deck, Shenbala,
Oh,
getting burned. Really solid pull from a Pexus Blast, though.
I mean, if you think about it, it's a pretty low roll for a 5.
Yeah, but just...
Oh, there it is. Nice, we get an 8/8. Oh, look. And then we draw another
Oh,
card.
Here it goes.
Nice, a
Comes the
4/8
Dragon
taunt.
Portals.
Good.
So that's
And a
Starscryer.
Lazul.
That Starscryer died, gave him a 12-16 worth of stats, and drew him a Acidic Swamp Ooze.
Yeah, seems pretty good for Solojazz now.
That's disgusting.
He can send 12 face right away if he wants to. Lazul would be a pretty reasonable lead off on this turn to see if he can steal something good from Itachi's hand,
Like a box.
like a box. Wants to go full tempo instead. Might have been holding Galakron in part to try to deal with Shenbala and what Shenbala creates. Shenbala being burned and seizing the opportunity for tempo.
There it
Solojazz.
is.
There it is.
And hey, what's in the box? A Twisting
Ooh.
Nether off the top. First one clears the board.
All right, we get to
Overgrowth.
draw a card into nothingness.
Shadow Madness does nothing. Power Word Shield does nothing.
Oh no,
Commanding
we drew a
Shout,
card.
not good. Furthers him in fatigue. Eye Beam does nothing. Consecration pushes 2 irrelevant damage.
Light Forge, nothing. Unleash
Lightforge
sounds,
does
nothing.
nothing. Unleash does
Prep?
nothing. Prep does maybe kind
Something.
of something. Not really though. And that was a bad box. I mean, it did clear the board, so it wasn't a terrible box. But it wasn't a very good box.
Your demise be near.
Oh, excess
That's-
mana. Draw OP.
Yeah. I mean, he might. Yeah.
Yeah, Yeah, out of those options, it honestly looked like the best one, as absurd looking as it was.
Solo
Mind
Jazz
Games
is
does
Zephyrus
absolutely
is,
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, not active.
What are you talking about? Mind Games is a 4-mana summon a 0/1.
Deathwing.
If you can always buff it, maybe at some point. Itachi is almost certainly down to the Deathwing out at this point.
We can play Spellkin
A simple spell.
Spellbender, I think.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
More magic.
But it's looking like the only way he actually wins this game is
we go.
probably Deathwing. He's still got maybe a turn or two that he can buy time with. Random Dragon, not a bad one. Random Galakrond
Oh
card,
my goodness.
very good one.
Good one.
Katrina probably just hits the board here.
Yeah, I think it's the only play in Solo's hand. That's reasonable. I don't like Mind Flaring.
Mind Flayer makes your board
On
slightly
wings of
stickier.
destruction,
Interesting that
come.
Solojazz wanted to play the 1/1.
Okay.
I'm a bit surprised by that play. I don't know what the overall plan was. Flame Strike hits his board pretty hard.
Arcane Missiles, come on. Ooh, Arcane Breath.
Itachi really prioritizing that chance to find something that clears his minion. He was about to leave 8 attack on the board with fatiguing for 3 just to get that 6/6. But fortunately found what, Arcane Breath number 6?
I think it's 5, right?
No,
That's most
he's
fun.
actually played 6 of them
Oh,
this
gosh.
game.
My goodness.
Right,
All right,
now
here's the
Solojazz
Katrina.
contesting the
Volley.
6/6 quite well. Katrina.
Oh, yeah, a
bringing
Mind
back
Flayer?
Another Mind Flayer.
Oh, Evocation. Oh, Deep Freeze is pretty good.
Deep Freeze probably has to be the play here. He can
You can-
freeze a Katrina and
Oh, he's gonna
wide.
kill himself with
He just
fatigue.
wants to kill himself.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, they're probably weren't anyways out. So for the second straight game, Itachi finds the lethal on himself, and Solojazz picks up the 3-0 win. Congratulations to Solojazz. Unfortunately for Itachi, you know, they were some fun decks, but they couldn't quite get there. Some unfortunate draws, and just not finding the things he was looking for.
You guys want to see if Solojazz wants to come in for a chat, or?
Sure.
Yeah, I'll talk to my teammate. Yeah, absolutely.
It'll be an unknown party.
Yeah, unknown plus Saku, who's kind of honorary unknown. So
Do you want me to bring Itachi in?
sure, bring everyone.
All right.
Yeah,
Call
yeah.
everyone from
more
Stay
the
the Blazes
merrier.
home and unknown. Oh, right now. We get Itachi in here. We're gonna ask him his ideas behind these crazy decks.
I was concerned we might have seen a 3-0, and I was hoping Itachi would have brought his last deck that he hadn't played yet, but it wasn't meant to be.
All right. He can't do the interview, but he appreciates it. So if you guys can bring Solojazz, I don't think I have him as a.
Oh yeah, have you hit him up yet, Tuna?
Solo?
I do
Is
not.
that what I was supposed to do? Yeah, I can hit him up.
Oh, was I supposed to do something? Sounds like Tuna.
Listen, listen here, Ron. I don't need your sass.
I don't know. The sass is what everybody needs. So while we patiently wait for Solojazz to potentially come in for an interview, what did we think about those games? Were there any moments that stood out that felt like Itachi could have done something different to get those wins, or the deck's just really not strong enough?
I just think, yeah, it was just more of a. I know what our game plan was for as a team was just to have fun and kind of just roll with it. We really would have had to sweep you guys in order to have some kind of contention, like 23 points, and then basically cross our fingers, toes, and anything else that could get crossed to have a shot at 4th place.
Right.
So we just decided to have some fun, and anybody that was comfortable with the decks or they were happy with what they were playing with throughout the season, they did.
Well, it makes sense. It was definitely an enjoyable series throughout. A very good team. Stay the Blazes home just came up a little bit short in the stretch run. And this was an entertaining match as well between Solojazz and Itachi. I definitely liked, seeing how the deck played. It led for some interesting plays.
Hello.
What's up, Solojazz?
Hey, what's up, Solo?
Hey,
How's it
welcome.
going?
Congrats
Congrats
on
on
the
the
win.
win.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Were you surprised with the mage?
Like I've said, I haven't said, but I was talking in our Discord chat. I have seen that deck once, and I got blown out in like turn 5, so I've never seen that deck kind of just chug along for however many turns that was.
Your druid was
unfortunately
disgusting too.
Turn 5
Unfortunately
to 0.
for
Yeah.
Itachi too, he really never found the Chinvala in any game in the early game to go off with it.
That's
He
the only
did
way
find
I've
it
seen
once,
that
and
deck.
then it
Well,
burned
yeah,
immediately.
he found it once at the very bottom of his deck when he was burning his top card, and he had a 33% chance to burn it, so of course it got burned.
It's gonna happen.
But yeah, I thought you played very well throughout Solojazz. Just kind of showing the power of some of the decks that you brought relative to Itachi's lineup. He didn't have the
Yeah.
strongest decks, even though he played fairly well throughout the majority of those games. I felt. I feel like it was more just a discrepancy in power level than anything else.
For sure. I mean, you could definitely see that in the Druid Shaman match. I just played Druid cards, and then I was just looking through his deck list, and I'm like, there's nothing that can answer if I just play a bunch of crap. Like, he's got one answer, maybe 2 if he has Zephyrus, but it's like, you can just dump your hand against that Shaman, because you have so much reload, too, if I hit that early Ysera, so that's why, it's just like, yeah, there's no chance for that Shaman if you have that opening, so... I guess there's not a lot of chance for a lot of decks if you have that opening, but...
Yeah, no, that Druid opener was disgusting. It would have beaten pretty much anything in in a lot of scenarios. Getting the
that's
Ysera
fair.
that early with the follow-ups that you had. But that's what Druid does sometimes, and that's why it's a common bring in competitive lineups.
For sure.
Currently.
For sure. And that's why my lineup was teched against Druid, and then he didn't have it, so I had a lot of funky cards like Mind Games and stuff like that, so that was kind of sad sitting in my hand for a while.
I actually kind of wanted to see you play it as a 4-mana 0/1.
I didn't even know it did that until very recently.
Yeah, because sometimes you just don't cast it. Like if your opponent doesn't have any creatures in their deck left. So
For sure, yeah.
Ron just casts it to cast it. He doesn't think about the consequences.
I think there was a turn I actually should have played it, so I could have triggered Counterspell in case I had to Soulmere the next turn. I realized that later.
One thing that we were actually debating about was the turn that he played his first Mana Giant. You had the possibility of going off with your own Conjurer's Calling and Mana Giant if you played a Murazond with enough mana to still Shadow Word Death his 8/8 as well at the end of the
For
turn.
sure.
Was that a consideration for you?
It was. I get a little nervous about the random Conjurer's Calling because I've had that sometimes blow up in my face. But I could have deathed the Mana Giant first, and I knew he had a decent board at that point too. If I remember
He was
correctly.
actually board locked as well, so any conjurers would have only spawned 1 rather
Okay.
than 2.
I guess I could have. I think at that point though, my thought process in that game was I have so much removal. I'm so far ahead. I'm gonna just outvalue him. So I think I just play it safe because at that point I think I had Double Plague and Soulmere still.
Yeah.
So and then I had Zephyr still in the deck for a board clear, and I had my double Galakron if he could, get like a whatchamacallit, the 8 cost spell that gives you two goons. If he got that, I could have cleared that up with those. So at that point in the game, yeah, that could have been a play, but I was just worried maybe he's got like off the free spells, he's got Fireball, Frostbolt. I didn't do the math, but I knew, I don't know. I just knew that was the only way I could lose if I got a little too greedy, because I know I could just outvalue that deck for sure.
Awesome. Well, very well reasoned there, and definitely makes a lot of sense. Just curious what the thought
Yeah,
process was
no,
at
definitely.
that point in the game.
Yeah, that's definitely something to consider. But yeah, I just tried to think about how not to lose. So at that point, because I just had a handful of removal, so I wasn't too worried. I was more worried about just being burned out if I got too greedy. So I just tried to
Right.
play on curve, not
Makes
try
sense.
and get too greedy and swing it, because I know my chances of killing him are pretty slight with that deck. Even if I do swing the board, he's got so much spells he could probably clear or freeze or stuff like that.
Well, and it certainly worked out for you to the tune of a 3-0 win there.
Yeah.
Puts the Unknown in very possibly the third or even theoretically the second spot in the playoffs for seeding, which can be quite relevant if we're trying to dodge a team like the Washu Mishas. So you and Desharmo both doing what needed to be done at the end of the season and locking up a playoff spot. How do you feel about making playoffs?
Good, for sure. I'm glad Desharmo took the stress off of me. That's really nice. I think
what a nice guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if I was
That's-
playing with stakes and I got Shinvala'd on turn 5 to a full board, I might have just tilted off the planet. So I'm glad I didn't have to go that route.
Definitely.
But yeah, very excited. Excited to see. Hopefully, we can finally put together a playoff run, because I know we've gotten there a few times now,
We've
but I think
fallen apart.
this is the year.
Yeah.
This is the year
Third
we're
time's the
gonna-
charm, man. Third time's the charm.
We're gonna plow through.
Yeah. Ron's actually doing good this year, so maybe we'll make a good playoff push.
Well,
Shut up, Tuna.
maybe he's just regular season guy. He's
Hey,
Yeah,
as long
chokes
as
in the
long as
playoffs.
you hold up your end, maybe we'll be all right. What are you, sub 500 right now? Pull it together,
Yeah.
Tuna.
Maybe.
Tuna's at a 4 and 6. A lot of chatter from the 5 spot.
Yup.
Absolutely.
I would expect nothing less.
That's fair.
the biggest voice in chat, I bet.
I think it is.
No doubt.
Always.
Always.
But Solojazz, thank you very much for coming on stream. I know
Thanks for having me.
you weren't quite sure if you were going to actually be on stream until a little late, so we definitely appreciate you being game for it, entertaining the
sure.
rest of us here, and congrats again on the win.
Thank you. Yeah, I tried my best. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
We did. Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Glad to hear it. I'll chat with you all soon. Take care.
All right.
Take care.
See
All
ya.
right, take it easy.
See ya.
And sadly enough, folks, that's all we have for you tonight.
We do actually have a thrilling playoff match in like an hour and a half. But unfortunately, we don't have anything to fill in the gaps. So sorry to say, it looks like this will probably close it out for us.
Yeah, that's about what, 11 Eastern or 12.
Yeah,
I think
my time?
11 Eastern. Yeah.
Hour and a half from now.
Yeah.
So what do we want to talk about for an hour and a half?
No.
just stay on air. We're gonna shift to just chatting now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, watch.
Ron and I play memes into each other for an hour and a half.
wait, haven't we done that before on stream?
I've done it with.
You've
I
done
think
that,
we've
yeah.
done
with
it,
Don
yeah.
Day and Isocles.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
And I'll do it again.
We could shift this to a BrushyTuna battleground stream real quick.
Oh no. That's too much pressure. That's too much pressure. I already tilted earlier because I tried to transition into Murlocs and it didn't work. So I left.
I'd be down to heckle you playing Battlegrounds for a full hour.
Oh man.
Uh,
I mean, I guess it's up to Saku, right? Like, that's the man that controls everything.
yeah, unfortunately, for me, it's a little bit too late around my area, but I wish we
Yeah,
could
no,
have got something on there.
Saku's
definitely
an hour ahead of us.
understandable. For those of you who are keeping an eye on the playoff match, though, definitely keep your eyes peeled to the THL Discord, and I'm sure we will get some exciting updates shortly. well, shortly-ish, right? 2 hours, 2.5
Well,
about.
we got. I mean, Ted versus 2-star Makos in 30 minutes, and that has playoff implications on it.
This is
Uh,
true. Yeah. Keep your eyes peeled to the Hero Series
Yep.
channel, where you'll likely see the update. Whether or not, if Ted can make it, I believe that is going to lock things up for the cult. And if he does not get the win, I think Dad Legend limps into the playoffs. So still some interesting things happening.
And then 11 is Posca versus Ghost, and that's legacy playoff implications.
Right. That's actually just a legacy playoff semifinals match, I
Oh yeah.
believe.
Yep. So this determines who won gold so far.
That's right. But as far as casting action, this is going to be a wrap for us for tonight.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So it's
Blood Boomers won.
Yeah, Blood Bloomers won, so they're waiting for Redacted and
Hearthstone Academy.
Academy, HSA.
So Posca and Ghost and Snake and Sage are the last two for that one.
Yes.
So yeah,
Okay.
keep up with the Discord and wait for exciting messages to pop up through in the next couple hours.
Should be an interesting day. Anytime we're super late in the season, or in some cases like Legacy, already into the playoffs, you just get those thrilling updates.
Yeah.
So until then, we'll be back in action probably
Monday.
next Friday.
Actually, I was thinking about that. Did you guys
Go on.
hear about the any wild? I thought there was a wild interview that was supposed to happen, but
I'm not trying
Not that I know of.
tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, as far as I know, the Wild Show has concluded for the time being. Obviously, a champion was already named, so I know they'll be back probably for Monday shows in the upcoming season. But until then, Monday will be open. I guess someone else could step in with some matches or something if that happens to come about. But otherwise, no THL Mondays anymore for another month and a half or so.
All right. So I guess I'll just roll through with what's left for next week.
Yep.
The Saloon for Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern. We got Big Ted, Sage, and RonMexico. Do you guys have a guest coming up?
We do have a guest. We're pretty excited that we're going to be having THL Lemur, fresh off of his 5-game stomping of Sage on stream on Tuesday Night Bar Fights right after Saloon, will be our guest, and I'm sure he will be thrilled to talk as much trash as he possibly can. So we're looking forward to it.
That sounds fun. Then we have Hearth Center at Wednesdays, 9 p.m., usually hosted by Donde, 2-star Mako, and Lotus Knight. Don't know if they have a guest or they're just rolling through, so they'll have lots to talk about with the Pro Series.
They will have guests in the future. Donde is asking for people to send in their rivalry story.
Okay.
And the winner right now gets to come and visit on Hearth Center.
Very good.
This is the current thing for, and it's being voted on by the hosts of Hearth Center.
Okay.
Nice.
Then we have Tavern Talk Thursdays at 8 p.m. Usually hosted by Desharmo, JR Juggerlaw, and I'm not sure who else is filling.
This week is Ron and me with them.
Oh, nice.
Surprise.
Surprise.
The people you're not sure who are filling in are
right here.
right here with you.
What's up? What's up?
What's up?
So, and then we have our Friday night fights, usually starting 8 p.m. Eastern. Schoolstone, which can be happening on either Saturday or Sunday, starting at 2. Just hit anybody up for any of these matches for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Salty Saturday itself is Donde and keep on forgetting who keeps hosting because it's been changing lately.
Donde and a to be named person, possibly.
TBA. Yep, to be announced sometime soon. So that also starts at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then we have Sunday Showdown, which is 8 p.m. Eastern with our various artists of mostly Brushy that we got going on.
Brushly.
Tunely.
Brushly.
Yep.
Nice.
But that about does it for the upcoming shows. Anything else you guys have to say?
Yeah, just
Duel to the death.
get
Ooh.
bent tuna.
Oh,
What? You what? I'm in for a duel to the death. I think I win
Hey, we
this.
can do it. Oh, wait. Are we talking Hearthstone or real life? Because he'd kill me in real life. We can do a Hearthstone one.
Battlegrounds. Fight me in Battlegrounds.
No.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope everyone out there is staying safe
You got
and
a
take care of
problem.
yourselves and your families. You know, keep
Yeah,
doing what
have a
you
great
do.
night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Catch you later.
You are not prepared. Another round.